got to understand how important Shedeur Sanders was to the Colorado football team. He was Colorado football. He was the identity. Look how turned he got Boulder. We ain't see that this year. And that's what's missing. Travis Hunter might have been the Heisman Trophy winner, but Shedeur Sanders was the heart and soul of Boulder. And that's what's missing in Colorado right now. You know, Two was legendary. I mean, come on now. College football was Colorado last year. They might not have been the best team, but you tuned in to see what Two in Colorado was going to do. And that's what's missing this year, man. We ain't got a Two on the team. It's just keeping it real. You know, what Shedeur Sanders did, he walked in and he talked it. He went out there and he backed it up. He threw his wrist up in the student section to let them know I'm here. And that was something that Colorado just doesn't have this year. Hopefully, Julian Lewis can pick up the torch from what Two left with Colorado, because you have a quarterback, he could take you a long way. And I feel like what Shedeur Sanders brought to the Colorado Buffalo, and not only the city of Boulder, the student section, the student embodiment, the program, the communities, the city of Colorado, those are the type of players we want to recruit. He wasn't only playing for the city. He had something bigger he was playing for. He knew what his dad was trying to do, the opportunity that they had in front of him, and he took advantage of his opportunities from the first time he stepped on the field against TCU. You know what I mean? The defending national champions. Two stood up, he walked it, and he talked it. Man, let's talk about it, man. Say no more. Yes, sir.
This shit slap, my nigga, you know I'm going dumb. You staring hard, little mama, like where I know you from. The kid basic and I ain't gotta say shit. I'm out of this world like a motherfucking spaceship. If you knew better, you would put me on your playlist. If you knew better, you know
Welcome back to Say No More Media. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell right there. Say no more. Yes, sir. Shedeur Sanders meant more than just a quarterback to the Colorado Buffaloes. He was the identity. He was the heart and soul of the Colorado Buffaloes football program. Not only did the offense take on his identity, but the defense did as well. Yeah, they showed up to the bus. Yeah, he was going to have his jewelry on, his ice on. Yeah, there was going to be celebrities and rappers at the game. But you knew Two was going to deliver when Two needed to deliver. That's just what it was. He took a program the previous season who wasn't really anything in the Pac-12. And when he did his first season, yeah, they only won 4 games. But it was he brought light and hope to the city of Boulder. He made them believe that they could do something. That's all you need for a program that's turning around. When you have a quarterback who believes he's playing for something more than himself, he understands what his dad is trying to do with these opportunities. Yeah, and the reason why I truly believe we're having a down season is because we didn't have an influence like Shedeur Sanders. Let me explain a little further. I'm talking about the transfer portal. But what Shedeur was able to do in the transfer portal, he could tap in with a little Jonte Wester. He could tap in with a Will Shepherd, Jimmy Horn Jr., Xavier Weaver. All those guys, he got to come play for him at Boulder. He took that on his shoulders. He knew what he needed, and he put the roster together as well as with, the Colorado Buffalo coaching staff, and he was able to deliver. He got what he needed. He took the leadership in the role as the quarterback. He took him during the summertime. He took him to work out. He built that team bond and that team camaraderie. Say what you want to say about Shedeur Sanders. He was a great quarterback. He was a great leader. If anything, he put the team on his shoulders, and he stood in front of that offensive line who was ranked one of the worst in college football. You tell me another quarterback who could have stood in there behind that offensive line who was atrocious. No disrespect to y'all, man. You know I love y'all as a fan. But it is what it is. We're just now getting the Colorado Buffalo offensive line together. You tell me somebody who could have one of the highest completion rates that he had, to stood in there and throw for the numbers that he did. If he wasn't, man, he was a winner, bro. He did not want to lose. I mean, come on now. He took that city and that program on his shoulders. Dive a little deeper. Pause. Travis Hunter was a Heisman Trophy winner. We understand that. But who you think got Travis Hunter to go to Jackson State? Yeah, it wasn't Coach Prime. It wasn't Dion. He had a huge influence on it. But Sheduer was one of the main reasons why Travis Hunter ended up going to Jackson State. After Jackson State, Travis Hunter could have dipped. He could have left. He could have went anywhere in college football. He decided to stick with Sheduer and head over to Colorado. And I feel like that's exactly what Colorado is missing this year. Shedeur Sanders' leadership, what he brought on the field, what he stood for, his teammates, they knew Tua was going to make a play. He wasn't the most perfect quarterback. No, who is? We got to stop having this standard for like your favorite quarterback. The Hall of Famers of the NFL and college football didn't throw interceptions, didn't have a bad game. It happens, especially at quarterback. Something so cerebral as the quarterback position, it takes a special person to be a quarterback and be a leader and go out there and lead a team. Or get beat up every single game. He was hit and sacked amongst the top 3 quarterbacks in college football from his junior season to his senior season. But what'd he do? He went Brady mode every single time. His mentor is Tom Brady. So when you see those late season drives, when you see him against Arizona State, with under a minute to go, against Colorado State with under a minute to go, when he's marching his team down the field, that's what we need in Colorado this year. And whoever was responsible for putting this roster together, that's neither here nor there. But what I'm telling you is that the influence of Shedeur Sanders is what we didn't hit on the transfer portal. We don't know who Caden Salter brought over. I don't know if he knew Joseph Williams and if he was familiar with Sincere Brown, if they really rocked with him like that. But I know everybody who came over to Colorado before they got here, they rocked with Sheduer, bro. It is what it is, or they wouldn't have came over. Will Shepard in the NFL. Jimmy Horn Jr., NFL. Xavier Weaver, NFL. LeJontay Wester, NFL. That's Sheduer right there. That was Shedeur said, man, come rock with me, bro. We doing something special over here in Colorado. We doing something special out here in Boulder. My pops know what it is. I walk it. I talk it. I'm the quarterback. And that's what you need. You got to, listen, to be a quarterback, you have to have an extreme amount of confidence. It is what it is. Because when you lose the game, you're going to take the blame. When you win the game, you're going to get the credit. That's just what it is. And being Deion Sanders' son, oh my God, can you imagine? He was under the most media scrutiny you ever seen for a college quarterback. And this is a kid we were talking about, bruh. And the media took every shot, every chance they could to get on Sheduer, but he kept winning. He finished 9-4. Yeah, they got scraped in the Alamo Bowl. That was a horrible performance. Like I said, they weren't perfect. But taking Colorado from 2022 to 2024, where they were 9-4, went to the Alamo Bowl, come on now, say less. You want for a quarterback. And this is why Mel Kiper had him so high on his board, because he understood what Shedeur Sanders was working with. He understood how hard it was for a quarterback to come in there for a first year with an offensive line you never played for, a struggling offensive line, and do what he did. That's why Mel Kiper had him as a first-round grade. Why he fell to the 5th round, I'll let you decide why he fell to the 5th round. There's so many, let me say this. Do your research on why Shedeur Sanders really fell to the 5th round. And then we'll go from there. But if you're talking about from a quarterback talent, from a grade, he could help an NFL franchise right now, the same thing that he did for Colorado. Why? Because he has something that a lot of other players don't have. His dad is Coach Prime Deion Sanders. He was built for this. He was made for this. He's been being groomed for this since he was a child. This is what he was born to do. This is what he was put on this earth to do, was to be a quarterback and to lead teams and stand in front of the crowd, throw his wrist up and be like, yeah, we here. Because that's what his dad did. His dad changed the game in the 80s, in the 90s, prime time. Deion Sanders changed the game. Was flashy, was going to wear the ice, was going to be dipped, was going to talk his talk, was going to high step to the end zone. He was going to be an entertainer, and that's what Shedeur Sanders is. He's an entertainer, and that's what Colorado was missing. We got to get that back. So hopefully Julian Lewis is the answer. Jordan Seaton, hopefully he's a first-round talent next year. Omarion Miller, what's he going to do? Is he going to stay or is he going to leave? They're building a good foundation, and I don't think that Coach Prime is done yet. I don't think he brought all these kids there, had them believing for him to just bail like that. I don't see him doing that, especially when he's already got paid. But we need the quarterback. We need Julian Juju Lewis to embody who Shedeur Sanders was for the Colorado Buffaloes, because he did it. He came over first team all Big 12. That's not an easy feat to accomplish. You can say what you want about him. He put up numbers. He put up stats. And you could see his work ethic, his NIL, his branding. That's what Colorado brings. You know what I mean? Look at other quarterbacks who hit the transfer portal and their impact that they had. Carson Beck, leaving Georgia, going to Miami. You know, these are the type of impacts that we're talking about. What Shedeur Sanders was leaving a SWAC school. They said he couldn't even do it. This is the other part we don't understand. They said Sheduer wouldn't even be able to play in the Pac-12 with the likes of Caleb Williams versus USC. But I stood there and watched him come from the SWAC, and be able to go toe for toe with the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, Caleb Williams. So this is what we need at Colorado. This is the identity we need to buy. I know as Colorado Buffalo fans, Skull Buffs, Buff Nation, this is what we've been talking about. This is what we're missing. We didn't get that this year with Caden Salter. For whatever reason, it is what it is. I honestly wish that kid nothing but the best. His senior year. I hate to see it unfold like this for him. Nobody wants to end their senior season getting benched. But this quarterback position, when you sign up for it, you got to be able to lift that wrist in the air and stand in the midst of adversity in front of however many thousands of fans in the other student section and really stand on business. So tell me what you think about how we're going to replace Shedeur Sanders moving forward with Julian Juju Lewis. Is he the answer? Can he embody that two legendary spirit that, Shedeur brought to Colorado? Because that's what it's going to take, bro. Because Colorado is the most loved, but you got to understand, everybody don't want to see Colorado succeed. So as the quarterback, you got to go out there and stand on business like Two did. You know what I mean? Say no more.